This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the Gulf of Mexico as their backdrop, broadcasting live from the Margaritaville Resort on Fort Myers Beach, here are the hosts of the dinkiest podcast in America, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming to Margaritaville on probably the nicest day so far. When you guys got up this morning, did you feel how nice it was out? The humidity was low, and it was a nice, cool day. And welcome to Margaritaville. And
oof,
thank you for coming to the show today, dear, with a lovely hairdo that you have there.
You're a little loud this morning. Thank you.
And I did want to tell a couple of quick stories before.
Oh, me too.
I forgot to trade out the headphones that you broke last week. So now it's flapping up so I can't hear. Can you hear me okay? Am I loud and clear?
I just
Dave?
said we're going to have to get him a hearing aid.
Can you guys hear us on Facebook and YouTube? We got a new pressure washer because our back deck was starting to get moldy. Somehow you get little spots of mold on your deck. I don't know how, because we don't have any trees anymore, but we got a pressure washer, and I put it together myself. I just want you to know.
Which deserves a round of applause. Yes.
Yeah. And it worked. When I actually started it, I put the gas in and the oil in, and it started. And so I took it out in the back on the back deck, and I started spraying and got some of the mold off. And then I thought, yeah, I'm gonna make this deck look nice for when she comes home. And then I started to smell something. I didn't even tell her the story. Then I started to smell something like burning. Like that doesn't smell right. Shouldn't smell like it's on fire or something. And then I turned around, and the hose had somehow caught onto the part of the engine on the pressure washer, and there was water shooting everywhere. And I totally destroyed the pressure washer. 30 minutes after I assembled it, was it worth shit? And I'm like, wait a second, what's going on with the gun? The water's not coming out anymore. I turned around.
I'm so not surprised.
And it was like stuck to the motor because it was so hot. And you know what? If you read the hose, it says, do not let it near heat or something like that.
I'm so not surprised. Actually, it makes me feel better because when I came home yesterday and most of the lanai was done, I was like, I'm going to have to shut my mouth because usually I get to tease him about how inept he is with putting stuff together or like mixing the oil and the gas, doesn't do that right. I mean, it's never good. So I was like, well, I'm going to shut my mouth. But now I can open my mouth because true to form, you have screwed it up.
So no, I went to Home Depot and I got a replacement hose, $47 for a replacement hose. But it's good to go again. Now I know to keep the hose away from the hot engine.
How does that not occur to you as common sense?
I didn't know it was that close to the hot engine. I didn't know it was that close. But I dare, you live and learn there a little bit. I think my microphone is broken or something.
You're very loud, and then
it breaks up or something.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, go ahead.
No. So I got to follow that up with the second story.
Yeah, the second story is we finally went out on a date last night.
Let me tell the other part.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, we finally went out on a date last night. Of course, he stands while I'm sitting. I'm like, can you sit so we can actually have a conversation? He's like, no, I sit all day.
My back, I have a bad back from sitting all day. When you sit all day, you want to stand at night.
Yeah. So he backs his baby truck in, which he often does, and it's on an incline or a decline. And I hear the emergency brake automatically go on. It must have or he hit it. I don't know, but
I didn't hit it.
Maybe it has a sensor because it was at quite a good angle. So I said, the emergency brake went on. So, when we come back, blah, blah, blah.
Back in the old day when you had a vehicle, you had to pull some kind of lever like this for the emergency brake to go on. And then you would kick it off somehow in that old vehicle. We got back in the car and I'm like, the car won't go. What the hell's going on?
I said, the emergency brake is on. And he's like, okay. I said, get out out of there.
And I
so
started to
had
say, Alexa, turn the emergency brake off.
Dear,
Siri, turn the
dear.
emergency brake
You
off.
got to fix that microphone because
All
you're
right.
literally scaring people on the
No,
beach.
they're fine with it. They're used to me
Um,
being loud.
So no, not those people. So I had to get out of the car and go around to the other side. No, they're way over there, and get the emergency brake off. I'm like, it says right here. It
Yeah,
says
you
there's
just press the
P
computer button or
with a
something now. I'm
button
like,
that
this
you
is
press the
ridiculous.
I'm like, is your foot on the brake? You have to have your foot on the brake and hit that button, and then we were able to go.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna before we get to our first guest, I want to thank everybody for volunteering today, including these fine folks here. And you see, my microphone keeps. Can you grab
it's
the
cutting
number 4
out and
one
going
there,
back,
and I'll just
yeah.
switch it.
Yeah.
It might be the cord, by the way. So at Estero Island Beach Club, which is next to Diamond Head, we had a bunch of people come over and pick up nails and other things that might cause a flat tire during the sand sculpting championship, which are next. Look who's here, dear. Look, our friends are here. Dear, say hi to our friends.
hey, how are
Where
you?
guys-
Here,
where-
switch with me. Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, much better. We need to. I think it's going to be the cord, and so right next to Diamond Head, and that's going to be like the primo parking for the sand sculpting championship, which starts on Thursday of next week. Everybody, it starts on Thursday and it runs, I think, till Sunday. Like 4 days of amazing sand sculpting. We're going to have Bill come on, and so the money that you purchase parking for in that lot, which is right next to Diamond Head. You know, the biggest building on the island right now. When you park right next to Diamond Head for whatever the price is, I think it's going to be $20. All that money is going to go to the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club. So, and you're going to be able to walk right out. Yes, you're going to be able to walk right out onto the beach and see where the sand sculpting championship is. And speaking of the 34th annual sand sculpting championship, Bill Knight is here, and Bill is really the expert at sand sculpting. It's his full-time gig, and we want to talk to him about what's coming up next week. And Bill and I go back a long ways. Before even being on the beach, Bill used to work out in Gateway as, it wasn't called the town manager, it was called something else, but was it called a town manager?
No, it was a district manager. Same thing. I ran utilities, and it's just different in Florida.
Yeah, and that's how we first met. And then that's kind of where I realized or found out that you were involved in this sand sculpting.
Yeah,
Give us your history of how you got involved in this, Bill.
Well, I'm a boater. Grew up in Michigan on the Great Lakes, and so every time we went to a beach, I was playing in the sand. And then at some point, I think it was 2001, Marianne and I moved down here. And
your wife?
Yep, my wife, sorry, and business partner and also sculptor. We went to the beach and discovered the American Championships down at Outrigger then. And that was 2002. So then we went, oh my gosh, you can do this for real. So for a living. And, but it took us, I'll say, quite a long time before we got to be able to do it. I think it was 2011, and we both walked away from corporate jobs and went full-time in sand sculpting. So quite a few years.
Did anybody here ever think that you could make a living at a sand sculpting? I didn't even know. Like who?
Well, did you ever think you could make a living at podcasting?
Well, it's not really.
It's true.
By the way,
She's always got to figure out a way to shame me. Like it's always got to come back to shaming me.
I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Your microphone
Is
number
much better.
one is now working fine.
Thank you very much. You're so
Yes.
technical, dear. You're
I'm
very
so-
technical.
oh,
Except for when it comes
I'm
to
handy.
headphones.
I'm handy.
Yeah. So, Bill, how's your marriage compared to ours? Much better, I'm sure.
We both work together too, so
Oh,
we
boy.
have the same
Yeah.
challenges.
We're going to
But
be
good.
30 years on Tuesday.
Oh wow,
30
Yeah,
years, yeah.
wow! Congratulations, guys.
Yeah. And you know what we're
Thank
going to do for our anniversary?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. We went
Nothing.
out last night for an hour.
That was
And
that
celebrated
was our
our-
celebration.
Yeah.
We
Nothing's good. She
celebrated
She taught me how to
enough.
use the emergency brake on my vehicle, which is a gift.
I think that we should watch our wedding video because I've never watched it.
Oh,
so
please
we
stop.
should watch that.
Yeah. So, Bill,
We'll
did
put
you
it
watch?
up on a big screen somewhere.
Did you watch the fight last night? By the
I
way,
I
did
heard
not.
it
Did
was a
anybody
bunch
watch
of,
the fight
I
last
heard
night?
it was horrible.
Listen, if Mike Tyson wants to get in the ring with me for $20 million, I'm happy to do it. I mean, that's
I'm
crazy.
happy to have you do it.
Son of a 20. Oh, there you go.
Oh no.
He made
no.
$20 million for that fight, and the other guy who's a YouTuber made $40 million. That's how crazy that whole thing is. So
That's who won.
Yeah. I think the YouTuber guy won. Logan Paul's his name or something. Yeah. But Tyson's 58 years old. I still don't want to get punched by Mike Tyson ever in my life. That guy looks like a crazy animal. I interviewed Mike Tyson once for the magazine that I was working for because he had just started a podcast, and I was working at the Podcast Business Journal in addition to Radio Inc. And I interviewed him. The guy was so friggin' high, I could not understand a word he was saying. It was a 5-minute interview, and he was so high on whatever he smokes now. That it didn't make any sense, but God bless him. $20 million for 16 minutes.
That, and it was brutal. I was like, oof. He's
So-
had too many hits to the head.
Bill, you get into sand sculpting, and then how do you hook up with like the championships? How does the whole thing come together here on the beach?
Well, for us, we started competing as amateurs on the beach, and
What was your first sculpture that you did?
Good question, dear.
It was a ship's captain, like a cartoonish ship's captain coming out of a ship.
Huh.
That was my first one.
How long did it take?
Football. I think that was 3 days. 3 days.
Wow.
Took 3 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be what we call the advanced amateur or semi-pro level. So semi-pros are wanting to move up to the master level.
Mm-hmm. So you guys have different phases of the event starting on Thursday, right? You teach people how to sand sculpt, and can you kind of run through what are some of the events going to be?
So we have our master sand sculptors start on Thursday.
What does that mean, master?
We made it up.
Okay.
They're really good at it.
They're really good. No,
There you go.
Masters are the highest echelon of a sand sculptor that you could get.
It's not like masters age-wise. It's like skill.
Correct.
Okay.
And most of the master sand sculptors have 10 plus years experience. They know what they're doing, and they get paid to be there. Then the next level right below that is the semi-pro, or in some cases the advanced amateur, and they're trying to get to the master level. So they're building a portfolio. Every time they go and they compete, they're getting another sculpture, they're getting better, and then eventually they'll get invited to compete at the master level. And then of course the lowest end would be amateur, and anybody can do that. Anybody can sign up for that. In fact, we offer
be
lessons.
careful what you say.
Yeah.
No. So how many
We're gonna
masters?
go with, like,
how many
a
masters
block.
are there?
8.
8 masters,
Eight
and
And
they're
they
all.
have to be invited, so it's
Yes,
like an
that's
invitational.
all the masters and semi-pros are all invited by Marianne and I.
So are you a master?
Yes.
So
is-
are you in this one too?
No,
Or,
oh, no,
okay,
no,
you're
no,
running
no.
this.
You
Yeah.
can't compete in your own
No,
thing.
Kim, you cannot.
How
Well,
many-
you could. There
Yeah.
are sculptors that do. I'm going to write a book about that at some point, but you can't. Could you
Sounds
imagine?
like a lot of intrigue in
Right,
there.
yeah, it's going to be called the dirt in sand sculpting. But
the dirty side of
there's
sand
no
sculpting.
way that we could work and run the event
and do
and compete
Yeah.
at the same time.
So 8 masters. Are we sponsoring a master? Or
You are.
We are sponsoring a
Remy
master.
Hogard.
Remy's from Bulgaria.
She lives in Bulgaria. She's originally from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Correct.
Of
Yep.
course she is, Bill. I knew that. Had no idea she was from the Netherlands. But so that's how far. Like that's not just local people.
No. There's only a few people from Florida, sand sculptors. Mark Wilson from Florida. There's only a couple.
So what is what do you think our sand sculptor makes? The one we're sponsoring. Like what do you think she makes doing this?
Remy likes owls.
Really?
She does owls.
No, I don't mean make. I don't mean making the
Oh.
sand. I
he's
mean
asking
make money wise.
financial.
Oh, I have
That's his big question.
I have no clue.
Like
Yeah,
I mean,
So wait a minute, hang on. Last night when we saw the puppy that we got to get the name for, we're talking. The dog's really cute. It came from.
we
a
thought it was a
breeder.
black lab.
He
It wasn't
goes,
a black lab.
How much did you pay for that dog?
Doesn't
I'm like,
everybody want to know
what?
that? You see a puppy, you want to
Sorry.
know.
True, but most everybody's afraid to ask.
I'm
the
not afraid to
question.
ask about money. I
Or
love
he's not
money.
smart enough to not ask.
No, the dog-
4,500, by the way. 4,500.
Wow.
See, I didn't
for that
announce
dog.
that. She did. The dog it was a tiny puppy. We thought it was a
wasn't
black
tiny.
lab, but it had paws the size of a bear. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is
Yep.
going to grow up to be 175 pounds, and
Yep.
it was some kind of cockadoo dog or
No,
something from a
it's
different
an
country.
Italian bodyguard dog. That's
So
whatever the name
over
is.
the course of your sand sculpting career,
That'd be a
Bill,
cool sand sculpture.
how
one
many?
Of those.
Dear, pay attention. Please
Okay.
stay focused. How many
That's what I'm gonna
sand sculptures do you think you've created?
Over 400.
400.
Well, I want to clarify. Marianne and I are pushing 500 for sculptures we have created, commissioned sand sculpting work, like for Jeep, for
What people pay you for? People
Yes,
pay you
yes,
for.
yes,
Oh,
yeah.
just to take a picture of it, or because it becomes part of their marketing.
Right. It's
Gotcha.
like it's really
like an ice
becomes
sculpture at a wedding.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I have a
we
que-
do those too,
So I have a question for you.
You do ice sculptures
No.
too?
but
Oh,
we do
you
sand sculptures
at a
at
wedding.
a wedding.
So I have a question for you. So if we were to ask you to do a picture of our logo or something like that in the sand, how much would that cost?
You're going to have to call or email us, and we'll talk about it because it's so different, Ed. You can't. You
Give me a round
it could
idea.
be,
Like
it
nobody
could
in
be-
this audience
okay,
has a
it
clue.
I'll
could
do
be-
it for free.
It could be between 500
All right.
and 5,000 because it depends on how much sand you want,
Okay.
where you want it. Like Margaritaville wants us to do one up here on the mezzanine. Well, that's pretty easy to say that, okay, yeah, we want one over there, but we got to bring in a crane
Yep.
to lift the sand up
You
here.
need a crane for that.
Oh yeah. Well, how are you going to get the sand up here?
Just
What are you
put it
gonna
on,
do,
put it
like
on
bucket?
this thing here on the dolly and put it in the elevator. Or
Yeah. Okay.
is that a lot of sand?
And then I'll get sued for all the sand in the elevator. Ed.
Wow.
Yeah. And
crane.
there again, if they just want a tabletop like this, that's a few $100
Gotcha.
versus five,
I imagine
thousands of
Jeep
dollars.
is probably expensive because they wanted a truck
Well,
or something. or-
We've done the Jeep Gladiator 4 times to scale.
Wow.
Literally to scale.
But how long
and
do
it-
they last? Like,
They can last weeks, months. It just depends on the weather that they're in.
You have a question?
do
you
you
use
use
glue?
glue?
Is the question.
That's a really, really, really good question.
Ding,
so
ding,
I
ding.
always say, if you're not paying attention,
I gave you
please
3
pay
bells.
attention. It's we do use glue, but we don't mix it with the sand. So
Huh?
what we do is we take Elmer's glue. It's biodegradable, earth friendly. We heavily dilute it with water, like 20 to 1 mixture. And then we put it in a pump sprayer and we mist the sand sculpture and it puts an eggshell coating on it. So it
Did you
doesn't
know
help-
that Elma's glue was earth friendly, Mr. Chairman
That's
of the
what we
Murph
should
Committee?
do for our hair, don't
Yeah,
you?
you
We're
can-
gonna
Put
put
Elmer's
it in
glue
a
in your hair.
spritzer.
I'm
Yep.
going to spray Elmer's glue
I'm
in
not
your hair
paying
tomorrow on the show.
$25 for any more crap.
it
I'm
puts a
gonna
nice
dilute.
shine
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
I'm gonna dilute
Yeah.
Elmer's glue and give
You
that
know
a
what?
shot.
Here's a cool trick. If you mix sparkles in the sprayer, it puts sparkles all over what you're doing.
So
But that's how we protect them. There's really nothing we can protect from a potential hurricane or a
Right,
tropical
right.
storm. But for the most part, you guys know what the worst thing for a sand sculpture is?
Mm,
Little kids and drunk people.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, you're going to run into plenty of the ladder on this island next weekend.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
It's really not rain. It's a dry day. A day like today is horrible because it's just drying out the sand. So really the protection that we use in the glue, that really just helps it from drying out.
But
Now you keep the sand sculpture area protected so
Correct.
that
Yes.
people, if they are intoxicated, are kept at
Yeah.
bay.
Yes.
well, plus you got to pay to get in. So part of it is people can't just wander off the beach
I know,
into
but
the
people
area.
at night might
Yeah.
Oh,
just,
it's
True.
you know.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
fenced off at night. When
Do you
we
have
close,
security?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you need
When
some
we
dogs? Like,
yeah. Well, no, because you know what dogs
Yeah.
could do to the sand sculptures.
So
but
part of what I don't think people realize too is special sand is brought in for the event. You don't just scoop
no.
up the sand.
Oh, no. Totally opposite. Ed.
Oh, I
Sorry. Oh, no,
misunderstood.
totally
Somebody told
opposite.
me.
I want the Fort Myers beach sand. It's some of the best sand sculpting sand in the world.
Oh, I didn't know
beach
that.
Sand. Unfortunately, the hurricanes that we've had, starting with Ian, have washed all that sand off the beach. And as you know, we're renourishing the beach.
Yep.
That's the sand I want.
I see.
Mm.
The sand that comes from the quarries, it's okay, but it's not great for sand sculpting.
too
So-
gritty?
It's not as fine as the,
Mhm.
it's not as fine as the sand we have on Fort Myers Beach.
Patty's in Dixon, Illinois, watching the show. Good morning, Patty. So the sand, the thing, this thing is like a crash course. The Beach Renourishment Project is actually right here at the pier right now, and it's inching up toward Diamond Head. And I know we had chat on a couple of weeks ago talking about how it's moving down, and it would have been at the same time as the event. Well, so do you have enough sand at Diamond Head right now?
Yeah, we Seagate brought in a bunch of sand for us.
Oh, Seagate, which is really a good neighbor to the community.
Oh, they're
awesome. In case anybody
phenomenal.
Didn't know that.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
So they donated the sand and the trucking, and they've been just awesome to work with.
By the way, for those of you watching at home, I did invite Matt Price on the show next Saturday. And he said he had to check with his wife because she's in charge of the weekend. So I said, fair enough, let us know. So there's a chance Matt could be on the show next Saturday. And as you know, the Seagate proposal is not on the agenda on Monday. It's been moved back to December the 2nd, but I digress. But yeah, Seagate they really want to be part of this community, and they have been trying to do different things. And I did not know they brought in sand. Where did the sand? Did you say where the sand?
From Immokalee, from the mines.
That's where they got the truck sand in from too. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of people just don't realize you can't just grab any sand.
Right.
It's got to be a environment approved mine to bring in the sand.
Now, do you look at a picture, Bill? Wait
a minute, I gotta ask. And then after the sand sculpture, all that sand's going to get left on the beach.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's a win.
So when we used to be at behind Wyndham, we would bring 400 tons. Remember how Lake Wyndham they called it? There's a lake back there.
Yep.
We used to bring in 400 tons for that, and just to help renourish the beach.
Wow.
Yeah.
This event is 4 days.
Yep.
Thursday through Sunday.
Correct.
And it's going to be a huge boom for the beach, and we need that kind of economy booster after all these friggin' storms that seem like they never stop coming these days. So, and there's going to be parking obviously at EIBC and all the different nonprofits. The chamber is very involved in this event. It's a chamber event, and they have set up different parking lots. If you go to the chamber site, I think Jackie has sent us a graphic of different places that you can park close to the event, and all the nonprofits are the ones that are benefiting from the parking. So don't park at the illegal parking lot, guy. First, find a nonprofit. I don't know. Jill, do you guys have something set up? Do you know? Okay. The Art Association. We know the Community Foundation has a lot, and the Women's Club, but we'll get all that information out there for that. And I see all the signage up at Diamond Head, and they're a great partner too. I mean,
they've been Neil, the GM there, all of his staff.
Marcel.
We've been there for Marcel. We've been there for a couple of days now, and Marianne and I getting set up, and they've been great. It's a great site where it is behind it.
Oh yeah. Now,
and it's a good location in terms of
you can walk from here. You can walk from here.
Yep. I just walked from there to here for the interview.
It's good to walk.
The free tram. Actually, the free tram starts Thursday. It's Thursday the 21st.
Yep.
So right in time for the sand sculpting, so you can catch the free tram, which runs from Bowditch. So if you're at the Pink Shell, you can get on the free tram and get dropped off there too.
But I'd like to tell people, because they always ask me, my friends ask me, and when's the best time to come to the event? And any day is a great day. Come every day and see the progress. But here's the thing: we open at 10. Come at 8. The traffic's light. Go to Margaritaville and have breakfast, and then walk up to the event, and you're not stuck in traffic. So, make a whole day out of it, a couple days.
Right. You all know there's going to be traffic. You all know there's road construction. You all know that it's a nightmare probably for another year. So come as early as you can. There's nothing wrong with spending a little extra time on the beach, especially when the weather is like it is today.
And you could park at the base of the bridge like I do, and then walk over.
And you can walk over the bridge as long as you're watching where you're walking and not looking at your phone so you don't fall on your face.
That didn't happen on the bridge. That was after I got off the bridge. I was walking today, and 2 people came up on their bikes. Now, they did get off to walk around me.
Yeah,
but
you really have to use
narrow.
common sense getting over the bridge because there's not a lot of space right now. So, Bill, do you look at a picture? Does somebody give you a picture and okay, Marianne, we're gonna.
Or do you sketch it out?
How do you
what's your
start?
Process?
You start with a pile of sand.
So if I'm doing whatever I want, which is it doesn't happen. Only if you're competing in a competition can you do whatever you want. In typical fashion, Beach Talk Radio calls us up, say, hey, we want a sand sculpture. And we'll talk to you and figure out what it is that you want, headphones, whatever it may be. And then we'll do several sketches of it and go back and forth until we get to a point that we have something that you like. So rarely in my world do I get to just be in a full-blown artist and do what I want to do.
So when these master artists are coming to compete, like what is the first place prize for the?
I think it's $1,000.
$1,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So are they given an assignment, or they
No.
just come up? That's when they come up with whatever they want, and then people vote on it, or how do you decide a winner?
We have judges that
Okay.
are going to judge the masters, and then the masters judge the semi-pros. But
Cool.
Then there's People's Choice. That all the people, I believe, Saturday and Sunday, everybody can vote for their favorite. So, and then there's medals, first, second, and third, prize money, and People's Choice, and also the sculptors vote which ones they like. So, Sculptors Choice.
Do I remember when we went? I
When was the
can't
last time you
remember
had
what
it?
year it was.
2019.
And they had
So before COVID.
Can I get?
So we were talking about that when the last one was before COVID.
It was the
Go
fireman.
ahead, dear.
Oh, John Gowdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Is he a
one was
professional?
So
Oh my
was
gosh,
that like a
John.
9/11, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, it was at that time all the fires are going on in California.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he's a retired firefighter.
It was the face.
Yeah,
was just
he's a phenomenal.
so
John
good.
Gowdy. We invited him to come. He has won the most times here in Fort Myers Beach through the
Nice.
34 years.
What's he doing this year?
He's not, because he had a knee replacement. So
Oh.
Big deal. He can't
not
do a
laughing
sand
at him,
sculpture
but-
without
yeah,
a knee
right,
replacement.
right.
What's the big
Yeah.
deal? It's not
Well,
like he's running a marathon or
right.
something.
Well, he's moving.
A lot
think,
of sand.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
kidding.
everybody doesn't realize. I know you're kidding, Ed, but it's
Yeah, you try and do it.
it's
can't.
moving. Each one of the sculptors have about 10 tons of sand, and they're going to move it all by hand.
10 tons of
Yeah.
sand.
Yeah.
And so do you mix the sand with water? I mean,
Yeah,
what's going
he
water
do
and
it in
Elmer's
layers.
glue or
No glue. Glue doesn't happen until it's all done.
I see. Keep it together.
like
So,
hairspray.
Yep. So we do it in layers. So we're going to put 6 inches of sand in a form, and then we're going to put water. We're going to make sure it's all saturated, compress it, and we just keep doing that
Yeah.
process. If any of you that are listening, or you folks out here, come to the event, make sure you see one of my demonstrations, which will be in the entertainment tent. I go through the whole thing of exactly how we do it, how we get from point A to point B, and it just explains everything.
Sweet. Now there's a chance for everybody to meet the sculptors. I think that's Thursday night at the Pink Shell, correct? Bill?
I thought Wednesday.
It could be Wednesday. I
got
could be getting it wrong.
I have event head right now, so please check.
I have a graphic of it, and I will post it on our Facebook page to
Yeah.
be accurate. And I hope
It's at
Jackie's
Pink
not
Shell.
watching because I don't
Nice
want to
job.
screw it up. Yeah, because I know you can go to. It's at the Pink Shell.
It's at the Pink Shell for sure.
I know that.
Go
And-
to the Pink Shell at some time.
Yeah.
At some
Just go
time.
every day,
Yeah.
and you'll run
Mhm.
into the sculptors at
Yeah.
some point over the next few days. I'll put
But-
that up there, and then Thursday the event starts. And when does and then when is the award ceremony?
Sunday.
And that's at
4
Diamond
o'clock
Head.
at Diamond Head.
Yes.
So we're going to put up a big 30 by 60 tent, which we call the entertainment tent. There'll be demonstrations, there'll be quicksand, there'll be music, live music, and then the award ceremony for
Awesome.
all categories will be there.
Anything else you want people to know, Bill?
Just, no matter what the weather does, like we had, all of you folks sitting out here thought that the rain destroys them. It doesn't. So whatever the weather is, please don't let that stop you from coming.
Right.
A day like today, it's a beautiful day,
Yep.
and come and camp. We have a lot of people come and park, bring all their beach stuff,
Make a day of it.
and make a day of it. Go
Yeah.
and camp out on the beach, and then walk back in. As long
Not
as
like
you-
literally with a tent, but camp.
You can.
not
you
like
can-
overnight
You can
camp.
put
Bring
a
a
tent,
tent.
not in the event
Not
site,
overnight
but
camping.
Just
no.
pretend you're homeless.
Oh,
Yeah.
You'll be fine. So the the other thing is that if you come and you park at the EIBC next to Diamond Head and pay your $20, just know that you're making a donation to the Women's Club and stay for the full day. You're really within walking distance of all the other activities going on. We still got some food trucks we'll see if they're still there after Monday, which is a whole different story. But you got Moms down there, and you got some other food trucks down there.
We're going to have food in the event site and beer, beach bars, and like I said, entertainment. There's going to be a lot of activity inside the event fenced in area when you get there.
Yeah, and if anybody wants tickets to the what do tickets cost?
$5.
$5. I have free tickets that I'll be happy to give away after the show if you're going to stick around today. So, Bill, will you be what will you be making?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
Nothing.
I thought you said you were going to do a demonstration of showing people how to do it. Gotcha.
Yeah, this is how we do it.
Do you have any idea what like people will be making? Have they told you ahead of time?
Some sculptors will tell me, and in fact, some of the like semi-pros, because I'm a higher level or I've been doing it longer than them, they'll say, "Hey, what do you think about this design?" Mm-hmm. Right? But the masters, like Delane Corbett's coming from British Columbia.
Oh my God, no way!
And he
I love Delane Corbett.
He walked out on the beach in 2019 or 18 and had a vision.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And he won first place.
What was it?
It was a cowboy with the condos behind it.
Cool.
Kind of a little bit abstract, but still, I mean,
what is the most?
Well, it was a vision, so you know.
I had a vision of this show, and I mean, look at it. I mean, when you showed up today, did you think people were going to be here? You thought you'd be sitting the three of us solo, right?
Ed, I'm going to back up way back in time. When was the first time I was on your show? In 1918.
1918, it feels like. Yeah, 1918.
Yeah, just after I got out of the Civil War.
Did we win that? Yeah. Yeah.
What
touching
year did you start this?
It's over 6 years now. We were at Pete. We must have been at Pete's timeout when we did it. Yeah. Long time ago. Yeah.
So 18 or 19? 18. So when I came on that first year, when we were doing the event down there, I got berated afterwards. I won't say by who, but I got berated for going on a little dinky podcast. Why am I wasting my time is what I was told.
People still say that these days.
Yeah, it's stupid. That's just
was it
ridiculous.
Someone on the beach?
I think I know who it was.
Yeah.
Was it a male or a female?
I'll tell you later. I
don't want to get.
That's fine.
They know if they are listening, they know who I'm.
Oh, they're probably not listening.
Probably not.
Hey, you never know. Things change. So, but Bill,
hey,
with a voodoo doll.
Thank you for being a sponsor too for the event and all the sponsors that we have. You know, Margaritaville's a sponsor, and seeing the community come together to support something that's been around this. The town forever.
And without the sponsors, this is not a cheap event to pull off. I mean, this is a very expensive event because you're bringing in these professionals, and there's a lot of other logistics to put together, and you're paying bands and sand, and
it's renting the tents. It's it's a very, very expensive endeavor.
Bill Knight, everybody, please ask him any questions you might have about the Sand Sculpting Championship, which starts on Thursday at Diamond Head. Thanks so much, Bill. Thanks for everything.
Thank
you very much. I'm to now. All right, before we get to our next guest, Mr. Dune Walkover, let me tell you about Parrot Key. Parrot Key is a Green Bay Packers bar, in case you didn't know that. And the Packers are 2-6 this year. I don't know how they got to be 2-6. What is the Packers record? Does anybody know? You're a Packers fan, Dave. Why doesn't that roll off your tongue? Thank you very much, passersby. The Packers are, and they're playing the, who are they playing today? The Bears today. And the Bears suck, so they should be 7-3 after today. You can go, the Packers bar down here is Parrot Key. Waterfront dining at Salty Sam's Marina. Island time all the time at Parrot Key. Sunday brunch from 9 a.m. to noon featuring Monster Marys. That's a bottomless mimosa. And Lobster Eggs Benedict. I don't know what Lobster Eggs Benedict is, but it sounds like eggs with lobster in it to me. They are the biggest Green Bay Packer bar in the area, known as Lambeau South. They have merchandise down there that they're selling. So if you want to go down there and check them out, they're right over the bridge before you get to the bridge. If you don't want to deal with the traffic during football, you can go right there and watch the Packer game. Also want to thank the Islands Pancake House for giving out coupons this morning to all the volunteers who helped clean up the Estero Island Beach Club parking lot for the Sand Sculpting Championship, which starts Thursday. I think they're going to charge $20 for that lot. And you might be saying $20, and I'm thinking to you, you can give them out. That's a donation because they're trying to rebuild their building. And plus, your ass is going to be right on the beach when you give. You're going to be able to park and walk on the beach. And so stop bitching about $20, people. Just pay the damn $20. It's a donation. You know what? When you get down there, if you're in the front row, you should pay $30 just to be nice, just because you want to pay extra. Anyway, the Island Pancake House serves breakfast and lunch. They open at 7:30 until 2 o'clock. But, you know, Brian is the kind of guy that if you're the only guy left and you're drinking alcohol, he'll stay open until 4 o'clock because they have a full bar there. They're locally owned and operated, and Brian and his wife are two of the nicest people on the planet. And we want you to go down there and just bring a pound of 50s and just buy food for everybody. They're located in the Seagate Plaza. No, the Seagate Plaza, not Seagate. I got Seagate on the mind, everybody. Seagate on the mind. Seagate Plaza. And enjoy your breakfast there. A brand new sponsor back with us, Power Block Builders, because you know what I usually say every weekend? If you want to build a house, you want to make sure you build a house that doesn't just fall down. And if you call Power Block Builders, your house will not just fall down. They have over 35 years of structural experience and 7 years in business, and they 7+ years in business. And they've been a reputable island builder since Hurricane Ian. We're going to change Ian's name to Ian. As Meet the Builder Days, that's what they have at Power Block Builders. All models are online with pricing and floor plans. So you can go online at powerblockbuilders.com, or you can call Oscar right now. He's sitting in his car, not doing shit, waiting for your calls. 239-849-1919. 239-849-1919. This is the moment you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Our next guest is from the island of Samoa. I always wanted to say that, like a professional wrestler announcer. From the island of Samoa. Who's from the island of Samoa? From parts unknown. Ed Rood. He is the newest member of the, big hand for Eddie Rood, the newest member of the Marine and Environmental Resource Task Force. Every year that goes by, they add a new letter to the end of this committee. It used to be MERT, now it's MERTF. And Eddie Rood, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Good. It's been a while since you've been on the show, but you used to be a regular when you were going through hell to get what turned out to be a beautiful walkover to the beach. Years and years of fighting, years of legal wrangling. The committee that you now sit on was leading the charge to try and sink your dune walkover. And the first time I walked over it, I was like, it almost felt like it belonged there. And I know it got damaged in the storm. You guys are fixing it. But when you look back at those bizarro days of all that BS, and then you see what was built, what do you think? Besides how much money you wasted?
Well,
he didn't waste it. He got it.
Yeah, there's always that. But there's been so many compliments and so many people that from outside the area that don't really benefit from being able to use it, that they have seen it and complimented about how it fits, how it actually enhances the look of the area. And they understand, every one of them has understood that it provides practically a community, a way to get to the beach without trampling through the very sensitive critical wildlife area. And the paths that were cut through the critical wildlife area, if you look at an aerial view now, you can actually see those paths that all the different residences cut through the critical wildlife area. They're all beginning to fill in, and all the vegetation is beginning to grow back because they don't need those anymore.
You're talking about the other people that live in that area, because I remember back then walking that area and people would cut behind their house, different
Right.
away, along that area. They would cut different spots so they could get across. Now, because they can use the dune walkover, it's all filling in.
Right. And also there were couple of very shoddy structural crossovers that people had just thrown on the ground. And,
Illegal.
Right. And so because of Ian, those got washed away. But those people hadn't tried to put those back because they're not necessary anymore.
One of the last times I was over there, I walked through your private property. I apologize for that. Kurt Kramer, who was in the fight with you, he lost his house completely. It's an
Not
empty
with
lot
him,
now. They were in the fight together.
They were in it together, not against
And
each
so, you walk over, there were actual birds on the walkover. They love it. The birds love it.
I have a video from the bird this past spring, through the bird season. And I was there personally, and I have never seen, I've been there for since 2011, 13 years now. I have never seen the congregation of so many different types of birds in one spot. They're all over the walkover, all under the walkover, all around it. And they're using it as a vantage point so they can see the small fish that are just below the surface of the water. And so they just dive right off the side of the walkover. The concern about it was in the way of the skimmers. I've watched the skimmers go right under it like it's not even there. None of them pay any attention to it whatsoever.
Now so what happened during the storm? Did it do what it was intended to do?
Okay, so
well, that's my phone. You want me to move it out of your way?
No, I thought it was mine, actually.
I thought you were going to pick it up. I'd be like, he's not going to help you with anything.
Do you need to call somebody?
No, I can answer this. I have the answer for this question.
Okay.
Anyway, no, I knew that you were going to be asking about the walkover, and so I wanted to take a moment and explain a couple of things so that everyone knows exactly what happened. The walkover did not do what it was designed to do. The walkover was designed to easily withstand a storm the size of Milton. The walkover would probably not survive a storm like Ian. It would be miraculous if it did. Okay, so after Milton, a couple of days after it was over, I went out and I inspected it, took a look to see what the damage was, what I felt like was happening. I don't know, people may not know, but I've owned a relatively good-sized construction company for over 40 plus years. So I'm familiar with construction, the methods and the techniques. I'm familiar with blueprints and engineering specifications and all those sorts of things. So what I begin to notice right away, the specifications called for the pilings to be buried a minimum of 5 feet past the surface of the soil, past the sand. So I'm looking at the pilings, the walkover. There is a section of it that's turned up on its side, and I'm sure most people have seen the photographs, they've seen the aerials. So I'm looking at the pilings, and I know that we had ordered 14-foot pilings. And the pilings, the longest pilings I'm looking at are maybe 11 feet. And I'm noticing that a lot of the pilings, the soil line, you can see where the line on the pole where it went into the ground. You could still see the difference from where it was in the sand and where it was in the water. And I'm looking at pilings, and the deepest ones that I could find were like 30 inches. And for the most part, they were all about 20 to 24 inches.
So are you saying somebody built it wrong? They put it in wrong?
Yes.
Are you going to sue them?
No. Let me tell you, I do want to tell the rest of this story right.
All right. Well, make it short because this is taking way too long already.
Sorry.
All right. Okay. All right. So
We love Eddie.
Yeah, but your stories can go on forever.
Well, he likes to get all the specifics in there,
And
but
he's right.
not everybody needs.
What's the moral of that story?
The moral of the story is I called the company. I asked if the owner would come out and take a look at it. His secretary called me, made an appointment for the following day. The owner of the company came out. We walked out there and took a look at it. He never said anything. He snapped a few pictures. He said, "Can we go back up to your house and discuss this?" And I said, "Yes, we can." And so we went back up and sat at my bar where you and Kim sat before. And he said, "Listen."
We had water.
He said, I hate lawyers.
Yeah.
I hate attorneys.
So he's going to fix it.
I hate legal battles.
He's going to fix it.
He said, we'll spend more money in attorneys trying to straighten this out.
Like he doesn't know that you know that.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to accept full responsibility for this. I'm
All
going to find out what happened.
There you go.
That's who these people are. They're one of the largest marine contractors in
Why did they
Southwest Florida.
screw it up the first time? Just trying to cut corners?
No. What happened is the crew that was there that was building it
Yeah.
informed the field supervisor that the machine they were using to set the pilings was not adequate and that they needed a larger machine. And the field supervisor told them to just do the best they could.
Horseshit. That guy better lose his
Fired.
job.
Right. The operations manager at the corporate office was never made aware of the fact that the machine wasn't large
And
enough.
you're buying all this from them? You're buying it?
That's what the owners told me.
So they're going to take full responsibility. They're going to pay for it, and it's going to be replaced.
Right.
All right.
Correctly.
Correctly. He's going to actually oversee the pilings being installed himself.
Cool. All right. So let's get back to the politics because that's really what makes
Sorry,
me
I
fun.
had no
makes
idea.
that's my fun part of it. Yeah. So the people, the Marine Environmental Resources Task Force Committee, which you are now a member of, and the future chairman is sitting right here. He'll be elected. He's going to be elected chairman, right? I know you can't talk about that, but
I
you
don't
can't
know.
really say. Don't answer that. I don't want you to get in trouble.
You're
Don't-
going to lead
don't
him
answer
down a
that.
bad path.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
don't know
he
that
is.
I don't know that I can talk
You
about
can't
that
talk
part
about
of
it. I just told you you couldn't talk
Don't
about
talk
it. Don't
about
get in trouble.
Okay, but what
So-
I can say
No, let me
is-
finish the. I didn't ask
Okay.
a question yet.
Oh,
Let me
okay,
ask
all
a freaking question for crying out loud.
Well, you get so long.
No, and so this very committee that you're now on was the committee that actually came after you with balls on fire to try and prevent the dune walkover from being built. And when you're sitting in there watching yourself get 5 votes, you have to head like a Woody, or I mean, you had to be giddy. Like it's just you're looking at it, you're with a straight face now, like no, but come on, just be honest.
Well, I can't say that I was surprised, but what I can
I
say
didn't ask
is,
you if you were surprised.
yeah, I'm appreciative. There's no question about that. And then back to your earlier question, I do want to make a comment. I do think that Dave would be a great chairperson.
Okay.
He's very articulate. He's very precise.
All right, you said enough. Don't get in trouble now.
yeah,
That's enough.
I'm
You're
not
gonna have to vote on that.
I haven't been appointed yet. I can say whatever I want.
Oh,
I'm not appointed.
is that true?
I haven't been appointed.
He's
I'm
not
not
saying-
a member.
Oh, that's right. They have to
Dave's
go
getting
do a
up to
revote.
walk away
Look
just
at
so
him.
he
I'm
can
not
say his name.
uncomfortable.
I'm not a member of
It's
the
more
committee
like
yet.
Julie's getting uncomfortable. He's going to be a chair of another committee. Enough already.
But anyway, that being said,
Yeah.
My goal in this,
Yeah, let's get to
it
that.
has nothing to do with the past. It has nothing to do with the walkover itself. The walkover issue is over. It's gone. It's done. It's finished.
Nobody's buying that for a
I
second.
don't even
Oh,
think.
I
no,
do. From
no,
him,
I don't
I
think,
do.
I don't think
Oh.
anyone even talks about it anymore. Even the opposition.
But I
they
think
don't talk
that's
No,
about
the
they
it
kind
do
of
talk about
no,
it.
but
They
I think
certainly
you're
do.
a person who can just let it go and
Yeah.
move
I do.
on.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm done. It's behind me. Okay, but the
Here
part-
comes the butt.
the part that bothers me, and one of the reasons why that I wanted to be on the committee, this committee, the Murph committee, or any committee, as far as that goes, is no place for people to be appointed that have a personal agenda
100%.
or a grudge against a certain person or a certain group of people.
What you're saying, if I can translate your vagaries,
Don't.
is you're saying that they were personally coming after you.
Not just me.
Yes, you.
Yeah, but
Well, you and Kurt.
well, and then Chad, and then
And Chad.
yeah,
I forgot about Chad.
and then FEMA about the berm. And
Well,
about
FEMA
the
sucks,
beach
so that's a
renourishment.
whole different thing.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
but the berm was a very successful. It was very useful. I watched it.
Oh no, I agree with
yeah,
that. The berm is totally useful.
Yeah. And I even made the statement in one of the meetings I got up. I mean, they just kept talking about the sand, talking every meeting, 30, 45 minutes about the sand. And after I was at 2 or 3 consecutive meetings, and I stood up and I said, why do y'all continue to talk about something that's already done? It's approved.
Yeah.
We're already doing it. The
Yeah.
sand's being put
You
in
got to let
place.
it go.
Yeah, let it go. You know,
Got to let it go. Speaking of letting it go, so you get voted on 5-0. Now, one of I forgot what my question was going to be. Oh,
Because you
one-
never
no.
let anything go.
No, one of the complaints from the former chairman tries to blame it on me that, why the thing turned over the way it was. But the fact of the matter was there were 11 applicants for a town unpaid volunteer committee. That's when people have had enough. When there are that many, most of the time it's hard to find volunteers to sit on government committees that are, they're time consuming. You're not getting any pay for it. You're trying to run your life, and you had 11 people that wanted to be on that committee. That was a clear indication that the people wanted to change it. Right?
That's correct. No, there's no question about that. They saw some of the same things that I saw, and they were like, no, we don't need a committee that airs their grievances about particular people or particular communities, and in a public setting. I have a good relationship with the Southwest regional biologist. One of the emails that she sent to the MRF committee was completely taken out of context, just for the purpose of making controversy. I spoke to the FWC representative. They actually begin to distance themselves away from the current, the previous MRF committee, because of what happened.
Yeah.
And
can I ask a question? Because you're rambling.
I just want to say yes, Christy. Oh my God.
I have a very low attention span. Like, I try to keep things in snippets. It's hard with you, Ed, because you like to tell stories about everything. So maybe one day the two of us will just sit and tell stories.
Can we get drunk?
Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah, that'll be a pay-per-view, like a different kind of a show.
Okay.
So Rose Larkin, Rose Larkin is like, she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. She's a master gardener like I am, and she's built for that committee. And she gets up in front of the town council and she starts talking about some of the other committee members and how good they are, and then she doesn't get on the committee. I mean, that she really should be on that committee. Do you agree?
I encourage every one of them to reapply.
Yeah.
I don't have a grievance. I
Really?
didn't care.
You don't have a grievance with any of them?
I really did. I even sent an email to Steve Johnson, and I said, I hope you reapply. I said, you're
because you knew he was going to be voted down. That's why you said that.
I had no idea. No, Steve is very knowledgeable.
What?
On the environment, on the wildlife.
Have to.
But I didn't feel like that he should have a position as being the chairperson, because of the direction I think that he was the driving force that put the MRF in the wrong direction.
In the tank, yeah.
Yeah, and that's my opinion. And that was one of the things that I thought needed to be changed. I didn't necessarily think that he needed to be voted off of the committee. I just didn't think he should be chairperson anymore. There's several people who are real knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Rose Larkin.
Rose should be on the committee.
Ranger,
the thing I think Rose lives on the island. And they voted somebody on the committee that doesn't even live on the island. I mean, nothing against Ranger Rob, but he lives in Punta Gorda.
Yeah.
I mean, and doesn't Rose live on the island, Dave? Do you know if Rose lives on the island? You can't answer it. Look at him. He's like, the answer to that. Just answer the question. He's so afraid.
I don't know.
I think she does. But I mean, I
was aware of
what are your goals on the MRF committee? What do you hope for?
You bird hater.
Yeah. And that's another thing too that just baffles my mind.
I had him
let him go. Let him go.
The question.
He needs to straighten out his reputation.
They've labeled me. The previous committee members labeled me as a villain.
Yeah.
That I hate the environment. I hate wildlife. I have a personal goal, and I just want what I want. And they're so wrong. They're so off base. I love that area. That's one of the most beautiful areas of the island. The wildlife, the birds. I get up in the mornings. I watch the birds. I love it. I love all of it. And through the process that the town put me through the years, I've had to hire people to come out and do bird studies and bird observations and make reports and all of this stuff. And so from being involved with those people and reading those reports, I've become very, very knowledgeable about that particular area.
Maybe you should be the chairman of the MRF committee.
I don't want to be a chairman.
I think maybe we should have a vote on that.
I don't want to be a
Can you imagine? Yeah. Look, Julie's like, she doesn't want Dave to do it.
I'm not detail oriented enough. I'm not,
It's just a popularity spot.
Yeah. Well, but anyway, I am none of those things that these people have tried to portray me to be.
Yeah.
just the opposite. And to not be able to see the benefit of what we've done down there and the benefit to the environment and the wildlife that the actual walkovers provided is they've gaslighted themselves.
Oh, I like
That's
that
what
term.
happened.
Oh.
They
Let's make the
gaslighted
critical
themselves.
wildlife area great again.
Right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And even the Southwest biologist came down a few months after it was built, and her and her assistant, they looked at it, they walked across it, and they were like,
You know,
can the
Let 'em-
local FWC person use this walkover to get to the beach? And I said, by all means, anytime. And they said, we think it's wonderful.
so you walk over the critical wild, you walk over the dune walkover, and on the other side, even though it's private property, it's not private property when you get to the other side, right?
Well, so the state claims.
Well, anyway, there's signs that I don't know who put them up. You put them up, or somebody put them up that explain like the different weeds or
Yeah.
whatever the plantings are. This
Weeds.
No,
they look like weeds to me when you get over there.
That's
I mean,
because
they're-
you're not a master planter.
no, I'm not a master gardener, really. I was in my previous life, but
I had a plant person, whatever they're called, I don't know,
master gardener,
come and identify all the different
botanist. Yeah.
botanists.
Are you a botanist,
Okay, a
Ed?
botanist.
How long have you been a botanist?
Well, I should have. You know what? It'd been cheaper. I should have got Ed to come over there and tell me which ones
he
were
should be
which.
on that.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting
anyway.
for Ed to ask you how much the whole thing costs. but I'm
Anyway,
hoping
so and then I had the information panels made and the stakes, and I put them where all the different species of the native plants were. And so rather
No,
than
it looks cool.
right, and so we kind of Kurt and I kind of renamed it that it was the nature walkover. And so as you go across it, you can stop and you can identify the different plant species. And there's a brief explanation what
Yeah.
the scientific
Looks
name
cool.
is and what
Yeah.
they are. Yeah, you saw them.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
Yeah, I made a small, I condensed the CWA information panel that we donated to the town down to like a 24 by 30 inch. And I put it at the end of the walkover explaining what the purpose of the critical wildlife area was.
So, and how long was the fight for that whole thing? Years and years, right?
Well, I applied for the permit in March of 2015, and the FDP put public notice in December of 2015 that they were issuing the ERP permit.
2015, and it really took to this town council that we have now to get past the whole thing, right? I mean, I know Ray Murphy did want to get past this. He was, I think he was on your side of
Yeah,
approving
he
it,
wa-
but
no,
he
he
didn't
was.
have the right counsel at the time.
Right.
And now the council, I don't know, was it 4-1? It was 4-1 because Veach was still on the council at the time.
That's correct.
And so, what was I going to say?
I don't
Who
know, but
knows?
since then,
How long did it take?
all the
Yeah.
all the current,
2015. No, I wanted to ask
9
you
years.
how much money did it cost you?
8 years.
I you know what? I'm not going to go into
$1 million or less? $1 million or
no,
less?
No, it was more than that.
More than $1
Yeah.
million to
Oh,
get
yeah.
to get 100 feet of wood across a critical wildlife.
297 feet.
297 feet of wow. Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
In
Man.
comparison to what the
It's
actual
crazy.
walkover is, the walkover was about 1/10 of the legal fees.
Wow.
And the walkover, I don't mind saying this, the walkover, we paid Williamson Brothers $130,000 for labor and material.
Crazy. And the town did
So you
spend
can
some
all
money.
do the math on that.
The town did spend some money on defending this whole rigmarole. Taxpayers.
No one was aware of what the town was paying because the previous attorney kept misleading them and gaslighting them also. And he kept saying, oh, we've only spent a couple of $100,000. You know, at one point, Murphy pinned him down a couple of years in 2022, I think. And he said, oh, I think we spent like $250,000. And those were incorrect figures. The town didn't spend as much as Kurt and I did, but they weren't far behind us. It was an extreme waste of taxpayer money because a small group of people got a few of the councilman's ears.
Yep.
And they just didn't want it.
It became a personal vendetta
That's
against
right.
you. That's
That's
really
right.
what it was. They
Right.
didn't like your attitude.
and,
That's the way I looked at it.
I
They
don't,
didn't like your attitude.
they didn't know my attitude until they filed all the lawsuits.
Now, just
I
imagine.
think it was
Yeah.
because you were from Texas.
Yeah. They hate people from Texas.
Maybe it could be. I don't know. Who knows?
And they didn't know. You see, the untold story about this is government going after somebody that has money to defend themselves compared to government that goes after people. If that was somebody that didn't have your kind of money, there'd be no way that thing would be there. No way.
It wouldn't have been.
And that's, I mean,
We wouldn't have done it. Kurt and I wouldn't have done it. But we kept, it's like the easy pay plan. It's like a credit card.
yeah.
A few thousand here, a few thousand there. Oh, well, it's going to cost you about 50 grand to do this. Oh, okay. Well, we'll pay that. Oh, well, now.
Yeah.
And once you're in,
Right. Well, now we paid the 50,000, but now it's going to take 70,000 to do this, you know?
And then
so
you're too
just-
far in
now
to get
you
out.
were not able to recoup any of those costs after you won.
So far.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you planning to try to recoup?
We're not sure, but it wouldn't have anything to do with the town.
Okay. All right. That's
No.
good news.
No.
And the other thing I learned about during this Dune walkover thing was who Bert Harris was. I didn't know who Bert Harris was until
Yeah.
I met you.
Right.
And then I learned a lot about Bert Harris and how, people do have property rights thanks to Bert Harris.
Yeah.
And just look that up or Google that and you'll find out that that's government's way of trying to take property away. And then he stood up for something and won. And
Well, it's about, anytime government makes a decision that limits your property rights, it devalues your property or can possibly devalue your property. And so consequently, they can enforce their laws and their ordinances. But if it devalues your property, they're responsible to pay the property owner.
which means the
devaluation.
taxpayers are, not the government.
Right.
The taxpayers are the
Yeah.
government.
Yeah.
So we'll let you go after this last question. What do you want to see from this amazing new user-friendly MRF committee?
Better relationships with the community and property owners, beachfront property owners, better relationships with the FWC, a more unified way of approaching the community about the things that do need to be done, not airing any grievances in the public meetings, being a committee that's not only for the environment and the wildlife, but also represents the property owners and the residents on the island.
Yeah.
We've got to, the wildlife and the environment has to be able to live in harmony with the humans that are here. We're not
Right.
leaving.
Yeah.
The previous committee would have been happy if Ian had just wiped the whole island clean and no one was left and nobody came back. And you can't, that's just not it's not going to happen. Number one, it's not reality. And the people are going to come here. They're always going to come here. It's not ever going to change. And there just needs to be a line of protection that protects the people's rights, but also protects the wildlife and the environment at the same time.
Yeah. And I understand the committee in their first meeting will be working on much darker turtle glass for the condo buildings.
you're joking.
I am joking. Please don't get crazy about that. I think that's what got Dave involved in that, but it's a whole different story. So
That's glad. I had several conversations with Ray Murphy about it also before they had the second vote. I just couldn't. It was incredible to me that they were even considering.
Yeah, and this is no knock against Turtle Time. I love Eve and the work that they do with protecting the turtles and the volunteers at Turtle Time. Completely different story, and I think sometimes they get kind of meshed
Lumped
into
in there.
that. We're lumped into the crazy radicals that were on the last committee. But Turtle Time is an amazing organization that has a great group of volunteers that does some great work. Unfortunately, I think the Turtles had a rough season this last year with these friggin' storms. Just crazy.
I
out
talked to Rebecca Snyder, the Southwest biologist, about the birds and the turtles. Obviously, it was the end of the nesting season, and whatever nest hadn't hatched, they were washed away, and the birds were gone. They were still here, but they wouldn't have had time to re-nest or anything.
Yeah, no.
And I asked her about the turtles, and she said, that's not actually my expertise, but she said, I do know a little bit about it. And she said, depending on when the eggs were laid, when they were buried, when the mama turtles came in and when they built their nest, she said, there'll be some nests that will survive depending that they're late nests and not early. She said the early nests, the turtles will have formed too far inside the egg, and that if they're completely covered with water, that they'll actually drown, that they don't have any oxygen. And she said, unfortunately, with this coming so late in the season, there's going to be very, very few nests that are immature enough to have survived being completely
Look at you.
covered
You're
with
a
water.
complete botanist now with all this knowledge of the turtles.
When they survive, then they have to deal with what's out
Yeah,
there.
I mean, 1 out of a million survives or something like that.
I don't,
Something
you
crazy number.
you had it on your newsletter,
Mhm.
but they had
1 out
100 and
of
something
1,000.
nests, and it was
So
10
Jason,
of them that hatched or
Jason, who volunteered this morning, he volunteers at all of our events, and he volunteers over at Sanibel. What they have to deal with on Sanibel is coyotes
Yeah.
something. Oh yeah.
that are eating the nest, which is crazy. I mean, you should be allowed to shoot a coyote, right? Shouldn't
Well,
you?
we are in Texas. They're considered
Yeah.
varmints.
I mean, why shouldn't you be able to shoot a coyote? I mean, bring that up. Can you bring that up in the Murph committee, Dave, when you're elected chairman next week? I mean, I've never seen a coyote
You'd
in
have
real
to
life.
have an, but Ed, you'd have to
Maybe
have
we
an
could
awful
just relocate them.
high-powered. You'd have to have an awful high-powered air gun.
Really?
Yeah, because they're not going to allow any discharge of
Oh, you
firearms.
can't just pull out your 45 and
Yeah,
shoot a coyote
yeah,
on the beach?
yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I
just
don't
get out
think
of the
so.
way, people.
We have raccoons on the south end. I've seen 2 or 3 raccoons down there, and at night they steal the bird eggs. But the raccoons aren't afraid of
Really?
the birds at all.
One of the coolest things is, I mean, down by the Wyndham, and I don't know if the water is still there, but every once in a while I'll do a walk around. When you see those birds in the water like that, that is very cool. I mean, even for, somebody who I'm not as environmentally, I don't hug the environment
Aware.
like you do.
You're
I'm
not
not
aware
a tree
either.
hugger like you are, but when you see the birds, I mean, that is pretty cool to see the birds in the water. like
I've never seen so many herons.
Yeah. I love the
blue
herons.
blue
We have a
herons,
heron as a
gray
pet,
herons,
as a matter of fact, at home.
We do not.
Yeah.
I've
They
never-
shit like crazy, Eddie. Did you know that when you have them in a
went across
cage?
the walkover, you went across the
Yeah,
walkover and you
yeah.
saw.
I mean, it's
covered
there's
with
shit
bird shit.
everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Here,
But I've never
I'm
seen
gonna
the
shut your
herons.
microphone off.
They would line up along the edge
They take a crap.
with the sun behind them, looking down at the water, like dozens of them. I've never seen that many there ever.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, when is the first meeting? Do you know? December
The
2nd, the Wednesday in December, I believe it is. Oh my gosh, that's going to be the greatest
It's
meeting
11.
I've ever carried on our Facebook page of the Murph Committee because we love them so much. And if you were to, just between us kids, take a prediction of who's going to be the chairman, who would you guess?
Well, I mean,
You're not letting.
I'm only one vote, so I don't know.
I mean,
haven't talked to
I
any of
didn't
the
ask you.
others.
I didn't ask you who you're going to vote for. I mean, who would you take a guess?
I don't have any idea.
Who do you want to be the mayor of Fort Myers Beach?
Who do I want to be the mayor of?
I don't want you to be the mayor. What are you,
No.
crazy? I said, who do you? No, I don't want you. What are you? Have you been drinking?
No, I'm.
Who do you think should be the mayor of Fort Myers Beach next week when they vote?
Well, I mean, you
This
can't
is an
deny-
easy question.
Yeah, you can't deny that Dan has done a fantastic job.
What do you
He-
guys think?
Yeah, he has been phenomenal. He has been tireless in the battle.
Yes.
From Buttonwood all the way to Tallahassee, and,
Yes.
and Sundays with the mayor every Sunday. Just dedicated. You'll seldom ever find anyone that's done a job that he's done. And I love him. He's a great guy, a wonderful guy. I believe he's honest to the core, and I believe that he really takes the job seriously, and he
Yeah.
really loves the job.
I think you should take a pay cut. $19,000 is
Oh,
way
my God.
too much money for a mayor of this beach.
I do. I would not be opposed. I do think a couple of things that I'll
Oh,
just
boy.
add here.
Make it quick.
I'm not sure that Dan might appreciate a little bit of time off, not from the council, but just from the responsibilities of actually being the mayor. Dan has never struck me as a person that has a huge ego, that he wants to be the mayor just simply because
Of the title.
recognition. We have 4 other council people that all 4 of them, for the first time since I've been here, any one of the 4 of them would make an excellent choice for a mayor or a vice mayor. And with it being an appointed position, I would like to see the baton kind of passed around a little bit.
Who would be your
between them.
second guess then?
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't really.
Well, you
given
said
any thought.
passing the baton. You got to pass it to somebody. Who would be next?
Well, I mean, Jim has been vice mayor. He served as vice mayor.
He doesn't
might-
want to be the mayor. He
he
likes
doesn't
to be
wanna
the
be
vice mayor.
He doesn't want to
Yeah.
be the mayor.
There is one other person that does.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Eddie, it's been great to have
Yeah.
you on the
Okay.
show.
Whenever we get into the good stuff, she doesn't want to talk about it.
No,
she never
it's
wants to
just
talk
not
about
relevant. You're irrelevant.
it. What's ever relevant on our show, dear?
Mhm.
What is ever relevant on our show? We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
More tomorrow.
Yeah, talk about it.
By the
all.
way, we have Ray Sandelli on the show tomorrow. It's going to be a big thank you to Ray. He's been an awesome
He is. He's a great
advocate
guy.
for the beach, and it's nice to see him to ride
Such
off
a
into
nice
the
guy.
sunset and retire. I'm sure his wife's happy about that.
Yeah.
So
He's been to my house several times. He's
Yeah.
a great,
At
he's
the
a
bar?
great
He's a great-
individual.
when he comes to the bar, does he drink?
No.
no,
No.
No. Not him.
no.
All right,
Yeah.
Eddie. Thank you for coming.
All right, thank y'all.
Yeah, big
Thank
hand
you.
for
Appreciate
Eddie
it.
Rood, everybody. The newest member of the Marine and Environmental, user-friendly, with Chairman Dave Nussbaum, the Marine Environmental Resources. You want to come on and rebut that? Task Force Committee, which I think meets December. Did you say December 11th? Boy, we're so close to Christmas. Has anyone got their Christmas tree yet? Their Thanksgiving turkey yet? Gosh, these holidays coming right up on us. Jorge Barrera, everybody. If you want to buy or sell property on Fort Myers Beach, give Jorge Barrera a call. Because you know why? He can unlock your dream home. That's right, because he'll have the key to it. That's what real estate agents do. Candy David says her tree is up. That's way too early. I can't, when I drive by Lowe's and Home Depot and I see those tents of Christmas trees already, then you go into Home Depot and you see all the Christmas ornaments, you're like, man, we're getting old. It just seems to come creeping up on you so quickly. I didn't lose my place. Jorge Barrera is Mr. Knowledge, Experience, and Integrity. They all come together to elevate your real estate journey. Jorge is dedicated to providing personalized guidance. She never comes back to end the show. Choose Jorge Barrera for a seamless experience backed by a commitment to honesty and transparency. Give Jorge Barrera a call right now because he's sitting in his car at 239-791-9893. 239-791-9893. Welcome back.
I have some information.
Oh, I have some information.
So, Eddie wanted me to remind everyone to please come to the chili cook-off. He has entered the chili cook-off.
All right. For anybody that doesn't know what she's talking about, the Women's Club is
Everybody
holding a
knows.
tree festival,
Christmas tree, yep.
Christmas tree festival, which I think I have the
December
details for.
15th.
Here it is. The 7th Annual Christmas Tree Festival, sponsored by Alex King, December 13th and 14th. You know where it's being held?
Bay Oaks.
Bay Oaks. So the chili contest is the 14th. First place is $1,000, by the way, and he'll need that to continue to pay off his attorneys for all the money he spent on that Dune
This
walkover.
will be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. We will see you tomorrow at Wahoo Willie's for our Sunday show with the mayor, and Ray Sandelli will be joining us tomorrow. Thank you all for coming, and you all have a great day. It's a beautiful day on Fort Myers Beach. Thank you, and bye-bye.